Welcome back to The Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. Find us on social media at The Mouse and Men, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We are today going through my trip, or part of my trip, to Walt Disney World with little ones. I am Bradley. I'm here with my co-caster, Chris. Chris, how are you?
So good, man. I'm so excited to hear about your trip. I know that you and I have texted a little bit since you've gotten back from the trip, but
Yeah.
we also wanted to use this forum to hear all about it. So I've been so excited for months. And so now that you're back, I cannot wait to hear everything. So
Yeah.
welcome back.
Thank you. So if you followed along on Instagram, I guess now I've been back just over a week. So on Instagram, there is a highlight reel. May 2023 is the real name, and it's just snapshots from our trip. So these next few episodes are going to be some stories behind the photos and behind the
Cool.
videos. But I guess we'll just jump right in. So we drove down. We left Nashville, Tennessee on a Saturday morning, drove halfway to my wife's parents' house, just south of Macon, Georgia. It's great because it's exactly halfway,
Yeah.
and broke up the drive. So stayed with them. Then the next morning, got up early, booked it to Disney, and checked into our hotel. We did mobile check-in. We did not do magic bands, mainly because it's like, we still have to use our phones for the kids' tickets because they're not
Yeah.
going to wear. I guess the youngest one doesn't need a ticket. The older one isn't going to wear a magic band all day. So it's like, we'll just do the phones. It's plenty easy.
Oh, cool.
We've got iPhones, and you add it to your Apple Wallet. I'm sure it's the same with an Android phone. So for ticket entry, for charges, for we got Memory Maker, so all the photos we got, and I'll show some of those in the videos as well. All those pictures, you just scan it just like you're paying with your phone.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
So we did mobile check-in. It just texted us and said, "Hey, your room number is what was it? 2609 in Riverside at Port Orleans." So
Nice.
pull up. They say, "Yeah, here, take a left. It's your third right." Um, there you go. And so we unloaded the car and decided to head to Disney Springs. Because it's 4 o'clock at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it was 5 by the time that we got unloaded and everything. My wife took the boys and just explored Riverside. So there's a cool Old Man Island with a pool and stuff to do there in the middle. They just walked around, had a big time. I unloaded the car, and then we headed to the main bus station up at the front of Port Orleans, Riverside, to hop on a bus to Disney Springs. I
So
think
smart of you, by the way, both of you, to let her walk around with the kids while you unloaded the car. So it gave you some space to just like get your stuff done, and then gave her some space to like walk the kids and get their excitement level
yeah. Well, and they're
all
tired
lined
of
up.
being in
That's
the
great.
car.
Yeah.
So so we did that. We waited about 20 minutes for the bus. And then because we've got a stroller
Mm.
and kids, we can't stand up close to the edge because they want to run as close to the edge as possible. So we're staying back. As soon as that Disney Springs bus pulls up, all what felt like 100 people at that bus stop just got up and crowded. And it's like, we're never
Oh,
making it on this bus because
mm,
the front main entrance is the last stop on the loop. So the bus is already full. Plus there's a bunch of people.
gosh.
I said, forget about it. We're just going to take the car. There's free parking at Disney Springs anyways. So we
Yeah.
hopped in the car, drove over to Disney Springs, had a good time, got dinner, went back to the hotel, got settled in, went to bed. Day full day one, we go to the Magic Kingdom, and our boys sometimes get up early, sometimes sleep in, but we're also on Central Time. So we're like, we're not going to push it. Just, I normally like to plan everything,
Yeah.
not quite
I
down
hear
to the
you.
minute, but it's like, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going to check times. It's best to do this in the morning, whatever. Um, but I was like, we're just going to play it by ear, and we'll just see how it goes. So got over there probably. I think we probably got out the door of the hotel 10 or 10:30. So we got to the parks 10:30 or 11.
Okay.
And the first ride, we got in line for Prince Charming's carousel, Royal Carousel. Because my oldest loves carousels. It's pretty tame. We
Yeah.
can just kind of warm up to it. 10-minute wait. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait in line about 8 minutes and it breaks down.
Oh, come on.
And my wife was like, no, like
I know. Yeah.
he's gonna have a meltdown. I was like, it's gonna be okay. We'll get on something else. Um, well, so we got out of line. They weren't sure when it would be back up. It ended up not being back in service that day. I don't believe.
Oh
I
wow.
looked every
Okay.
now and then, and it said temporarily closed.
Mm.
There was also what appeared to be a cheerleading convention going on at this time, and there were just a lot more people than we remember being there this week of the year, uh,
Yeah.
especially Magic Kingdom. If you've got one park to go to, that's the one you're going to go to. Um, Being a Monday, if it's your first day there, a lot of people go to the Magic Kingdom first. So a lot of reasons that there are a lot of people at Magic Kingdom. Um, I think the adults broke down before the kids did. My son handled it pretty well.
Really?
Yeah. Uh, but so our second first ride was Small World,
Yeah.
and
Also good.
m- my boys did great in line. They loved it. Uh, After that, um, I don't know how we go from the very back of the park at Small World to the Walt Disney World Railroad, and I know we got on up at the front.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
we may have it may have been that we went to go get lunch. Uh, but I can't remember. Anyways, Railroad, again, we're starting out very easy and also short waits. I can't remember what Small World was. The Railroad, not a long wait. We get a row to ourselves, had a blast. The oldest, who is 3.5, loved all of this.
Mm.
The youngest, who's a year and a half, and he's the more adventurous one. He's less cautious. He's kind of just, I'm just gonna run towards the edge of the cliff. Uh, Anytime we get on a ride, he just gotta sit there and just look around, not
Oh
really
wow.
sure, like just go really still.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious to see how they reacted because it was polar opposite of what we expected.
Oh,
Uh,
that's wild.
uh, we rode Winnie the Pooh. That was fun. That line is so engaging.
Hmm.
So that helped. Then we hopped on
Yeah, they
Peter
have
Pan.
like the little pop-up things that you can slap down and the different things that you can interact with in the
Yeah,
queue. Is that right? Yeah.
yeah. So at the very beginning, there's like a kid's play place kind of thing
Yeah.
where they can run around, and then as you get further in, they've got these screens, and there's some sort of infrared thing that's shot right in front of the screen so that when your hand breaks it, I'm guessing it's infrared. When your hand breaks that plane, it 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 that's how the touchscreen works. So it's not actually touching the screen, um, like a smartphone.
Gotcha.
But basically it's a big screen and honey is dripping down. And
That's right.
when you wipe the honey away, different Winnie the Pooh characters appear. So they love doing that. After Winnie the Pooh, we hopped on Peter Pan's flight, or tried to. Um,
Mm.
this was a 65-minute wait. We knew it was
Oof.
gonna be tough. But we said, well, it's not going to get any shorter. So we
Yeah.
hop in line. We're in there about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And this is another one that's pretty good at certain points, but because it's been there so long, it's been hard to add in interactive stuff the whole way. Um After 15 or 20 minutes, we're I think the youngest one pooped in his diaper. And it's dark in there, so we get out flashlights. Yep, it's definitely something in his diaper. So I said, wait here, I'll go change his diaper. So I go back out the entrance. So I'm going backwards through the line. Excuse me, sorry. I don't know how many times I said that. And going backwards, no big deal. But our stroller's parked right next to the Tangle bathrooms, which aren't far from where you get in line for Peter Pan. Grab the diaper bag, run in there, change his diaper, come back, go back in the entrance, passing all these people. Excuse me, sorry. And finally find my crew. They haven't moved a whole lot, but they moved a little bit. And after about 5 minutes, my oldest says, Daddy, I have to go pee pee. Okay, so I'm like, we've moved. I think it's closer to go, like, to cut all these people in line and go out where you load onto the ride. So we, excuse me, sorry.
Oh
Sorry,
gosh, yes.
Sorry, we need a bathroom, and keep going. And see, as we get to the front, I see a cast member. I said, hey, I just need to get him to a bathroom. And she was great. She said, head straight this way, and take a left at the little food cart. So made it to the bathroom in time. He peed. We came back and saw that same cast member. I said, can we just stand here? It's kind of next to Lightning Lane, what used to be Fast Pass, where they board, or where they get in line to board. So we're out of the way. I said, can we just wait here for the rest of our group? And she said, yeah, totally.
Oh,
so then, I think at that point I said, thank you so much. Got a selfie with her. Her name's Ella. We gave
hey,
a cast
Ella.
member shout out, because she was fantastic. She was helpful. She was so kind. So we're waiting. My oldest is doing a good job. I'm texting with my wife, seeing how close they are. And then my oldest says, Daddy, I have to go poopy.
Man, Peter Pan brings it out in everybody.
Peter Pooh. So
PP indeed.
it's like I thought we were done with Winnie the Pooh. So I'm like, okay. So I text my wife and I say, he's got to poop. We're heading back to the bathrooms. So we bolt, and she's starting to panic because she's like, we're about to board. I was like, well, step to the side, talk to a cast member, tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think I want to do that. I was like, okay, well then ride it and we'll figure out what we're going to do. And my son takes quite a while. He's just sitting there having a good time. I'm trying to text, but I'm also trying to, take care of a kid in the bathroom and all this. So he's finally done. I'm texting with her. She's able to step to the side and wait for us.
Oh, good.
But now the youngest has pooped in his diaper again.
Oh,
I said, I don't care. I said, I don't care how much diaper cream we have to use. We're going on this ride. So we get back. The cast members are great. They help us onto the ride. We go. They both loved it. Is it any wonder that the adults broke down before the kids did? They both loved it. As soon as we hop off, I take the youngest, head back to the stroller, grab the diaper bag, go change his diaper, and what a ride in all sense, all matters of the phrase. But we made it.
Gosh, I feel like that Minnigan's broke some sort of going to the bathroom record in the Peter Pan queue.
Yeah,
There's got to be some record there.
four times. Yeah. And
Oh, that's amazing.
only by two people. So after that, I know we went and got dinner after that. We got turkey leg. Oh, some people hate on the turkey leg. I mean, it's like 20, $25, but it's huge. It fed our family of four.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. Hey, that's a
so
great value actually. That's a
yeah,
good tip for yeah.
and I think maybe once did each of us get a meal. We did a lot of sharing of meals because it's pretty good portions. And when you're walking around in
Yeah.
the heat, you don't want to eat as much.
Yeah.
We also got a popcorn bucket, just the standard bucket.
Mhm.
Oh, next week I'll have the popcorn bucket.
Sweet. Yeah.
Just standard popcorn buckets, like $12, $15 maybe, and then it's $2.25 to refill it.
That's great.
We probably refilled that thing 10 or 15 times
Nice.
in 3 days at
Nice.
the parks.
Yeah.
So
Another good value tip there. Great
yeah.
job.
So so after dinner, uh we now we things are starting to have shorter waits. The boys are more excited for rides. So my oldest and my wife did Astro Orbiter,
Nice.
and we weren't sure how he'd do. He took that lever, he went all the way up. It sits up on top of um the people mover, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority people mover. So it's way up, and it's basically Dumbo but with rocket
Mm.
ships, and he loves rocket ships. So
Oh yeah, love
so,
that ride.
so you're on top of a building 40, 50 feet up, and then you can take this thing, another 20 feet higher or something like that, 15 feet higher. He was all the way up. We went and did Pirates of the Caribbean. They did really well. I was worried about gunshots and spooking them. They got spooked a
Mhm.
little bit at the beginning, and then were great.
Mm.
Tiki Room, they had a blast. As we finished up Tiki Room, the fireworks were happening, and
Nice.
it was the four of us plus two more groups of two, so it was 8 people total in Tiki Room
Mm.
during the fireworks. Um, and they warned us, hey, for your little ones, the fireworks are going off, so they just covered their ears. They were fine. We ran over to Jungle Cruise, literally walked on Jungle Cruise.
Love when that happens.
It's also hilarious because they get none of the jokes. My oldest is just sitting there, looking, having a good time, just kind of looking around, but not getting any of the jokes. And when there's the four of us and four, maybe six others on the boat, I mean, it's pretty empty. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what
I
you mean. Like
I
as an
felt
audience.
bad. I was laughing. But I'm also trying to watch my kids, and can't give the skipper as much attention as I'd like.
Yeah.
He did a great job. After Jungle Cruise, Barnstormer had a 5-minute wait, so went over there. He rode it 2 times in a row, once with mom, once with me. We went over to the People Mover because it's just one land away. He asked for the Barnstormer, so we went back to the Barnstormer, did it 2 more times. Um, we asked him later. Barnstormer was his favorite, uh,
Oh, that's awesome.
and that's how we shut down the park. Is Barnstormer. Park closed at 11. I think we walked out the front gates about 11:05. Got our picture taken on the way out, and 22,000 steps that day.
Holy moly.
So that was our
What is that, about
day.
11-mile walk
Yeah, I guess
ish?
so. So that was our day at the Magic Kingdom. It was definitely back heavy.
Mhm.
With our boys are pretty used to staying up late. They don't like to sleep. But they were worn out uh the next day. But it was a pool day. We'll get to that next week. Um,
See, I think that's brilliant. Doing it like that, especially with the young little ones like you guys have, to give like to push it to its limit, like you did. You closed down Magic Kingdom on their first trip ever. That's pretty brilliant.
yeah,
But then to allow them to rest and recuperate and have fun the next day, so you can warm up, get excited for the next park day after that. I think that is so wise to do.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that you would do it the same way again as far as park
Yeah,
pool
yeah,
day, park pool day?
definitely have non-park days.
Mhm.
Pool days are still quite adventurous and can be exhausting. You're still out in the
Sure.
sun, swimming, all that. But you're not, there's a little more flexibility. It's a little
Yeah.
easier pace. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
think definitely have a day or two in there in between parks.
Yeah. The idea that you are closer to your room, even if you are at a pool, you're closer to going back if somebody has a meltdown and needs to go take a nap, or you need to go have some privacy for a potty change or those kinds of things. That's nice. And then just the idea of like, I'm not paying multiple hundreds of dollars for this 24-hour period inside this park. And so I need to get the most out of it, kind of thing. Like I've run my family ragged back
Yeah.
in the day, especially when they were all younger, because I was trying to get my money's worth, sort of thing. So that's another layer of pressure for us Murphys when, 10 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And so that pool day is really nice because everybody can relax a bit more, even though, yeah, you're right. It is hot and you're spending a lot of energy, but yeah, a little less pressure all around from a monetary standpoint and a proximity to your comfort of your own room there.
Yeah. And we had no plans to shut down Magic Kingdom. We let our boys um kind of tell us, and they were doing great. Like they
Oh,
weren't,
that's awesome.
like you could tell they were starting to slow down, but it wasn't overexhaustion, meltdown. Youngest was having a big time. He was cooling off. The oldest was getting off Barnstormer and running out the exit and running around to get back on with mom. So
Oh, that's ideal, man. To know that they're having fun at that level, it makes it all worth it. Even my dog is in the distance, barking in celebration for you guys on day one. So well done, sir. Well
thank
done.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, I need to ask though, as we wrap up day one, you've finally been to Disney World. I know that a big thing that me and the audience of the Mouse and Men have talked about for a long time is you have been so dedicated in holding on to not going too far into Star Wars until you actually visit Galaxy's Edge. And so, with the pandemic throwing a wrench in those plans, you again have been so patient. But, sir, I think it's now time for you to become a Jedi.
Bradley becomes a Jedi.
There's one. Set for stun.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yes, yes. I'm going through Jedi training, so we'll go through Galaxy's Edge in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been there. I have seen it. We'll talk more about that. So I started watching the original trilogy. So starting with A New Hope, I started on May the 4th.
Bravo.
It seemed right. So this was the day after we went to Galaxy's Edge, which I'm glad we went on the 3rd because the 4th it was packed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Started it while I was doing laundry at the resort and just took some notes. So here's a little bit of a review and just some of my thoughts on episode 4, A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie to ever be released. I realized why as a kid I got 15, 20 minutes in and just gave up. It's a slow story.
Yeah. It's a very like 1970s way of telling a story, which is much slower paced than today's like Marvel superhero bang, 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 let's get it going ASAP
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I grew up before internet, before smartphones and apps and all that, and only had 6 channels, I think, on our TV: ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, Fox, and I think we could get WGN from Chicago somehow.
That was the same with us down in Alabama. For some reason, we could get Cubs games much easier than Braves games growing up back in the day. But
Right.
side note for another episode.
Yeah. Obi-Wan is in the movie for what feels like 10 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
He saves Luke from the Sand People, shows him a lightsaber, hires Han Solo, fights Vader, either does a disappearing act or dies. I still don't know. It's like, because the lightsaber never makes contact that I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, like, the robe just falls to the floor and Vader's stepping on it, make sure he's really gone.
Yeah.
And then he still makes ghostly appearances through, like, just his voice throughout the rest of the movie. I don't know.
I'm so excited now that you are coming into the lore and confused at the same spot now that Star Wars fans for generations at this point have been confused about, like, did he die? Okay. What did he do? What's going on? Yes. So.
Because I've never heard what happened. Also, Yoda's not in this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another thing. Obi-Wan says that the attack on the Jawas, their little sand crawler thing,
the little sand people that
was done by stormtroopers because accuracy was too good to be sand people. Problem is, I've always heard that stormtroopers have terrible aim.
They are known for not being very specific with some of those shots, especially in, like, small corridors where you think that they would easily take down their opponents.
So either Obi-Wan does not know about the newest stormtroopers that have zero accuracy, or the sand people have such, I mean, they must have the worst eyesight on, what is it, Tatooine? What? Yeah. Okay.
I'm so happy right now.
Let's talk about pronunciations. Princess Leia, her name was pronounced Leah in this movie. There's another pronunciation. It may have been in another one. I can't remember. Also,
I went back as a child and watched A New Hope, and everything that I put in my mind, like Princess Leia is now Princess Leia, Han Solo is now Han Solo, the Millennium Falcon is now the Millennium Falcon.
That's it. It's the Falcon.
Yeah.
There's no U in the spelling. I think one of the other things was I thought Darth Vader was in charge of the bad side. He's not. Like, he's not even second in command. It totally blew my mind. And he's the only one who avoided getting blown up, so I guess he's in charge now. I don't know. Then
we shall see.
This is my last note on it. You expect me to believe that old farm boy Luke can go from driving moonshining racers to piloting a military fighter jet with no practice? Please.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Those midichlorians going through his veins that he got from, you know what? That's a great question that should be answered in time. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, even at this point, for movies that you'll eventually watch that are the prequels to the one you're currently watching. That is his own set of confusion.
Yeah. I mean, so I walked away from the movie. I was like, that's pretty good. But I don't understand the diehard fandom that these movies created. By the way, I'm watching the versions on Disney Plus. I know they have the more recent CGI added in there. It looks absolutely cheesy, but I'm not holding that against the originals, because I know the original special effects I'm very impressed by. So in a way, I'm viewing this as it was a revolutionary breakthrough, much like Avatar was. And Avatar is Blue Pocahontas. The story for Avatar, I haven't seen the new one, Way of Water or whatever it is. I've not seen that one. I saw the first one, not in theaters, not in 3D, just at home on at the time it was a big TV. It was probably 50 inches. It was like a plasma. It was top of the line. Looked cool,
Yeah.
but it was all, I mean, it's kind of just superficial. So I'm like, Star Wars, I feel like ain't that much better. There's just less time in between the first movie and the second movie.
Yeah.
So
Certainly less time. Yeah.
I don't know. Empire Strikes Back is up next. We'll have to see where it goes from here, because I mean, Vader got away, so there's
Mhm.
more to the story. But I'm like,
Oh,
what the
I'm so
hell?
excited. Yes. Okay. So I have some confusion too, and now I'm excited about bringing it. That like you and I can chat about it, especially here in this forum. Um, I heard somebody say, maybe it was Dave Chappelle or somebody. I heard him in an interview recently. He was like, "When I see a photograph, I try to judge that photograph when it was taken, not now what I know based on is this a good photograph." Do I need to look at it like, oh, it's black and white, it's crappy now because it's black and white? It's like, no, no, no. At the time that it was taken, that was the top of technology. This is not a bad photo if you compare it to when it was taken, not
Yeah.
looking back, sort of thing. So now what has it been? 40, I think this is 46 years ago that Star Wars came out. Like for the time, it was revolutionary. And I'm imagining, and again, I was a little bit late to the party. I think I saw a Star Wars movie in the theaters, but it was like this episode 5 or 6. I can't remember. I think it may have
Yeah.
been Return of the Jedi that I actually saw in theaters. But before that, like this movie, A New Hope came out a year before I was born. So I didn't have a shot at that. But I can imagine if you were like 6 to 12 years old in 1977 and you go see that, again, the closest to this was like a Western or something.
Yeah.
Sci-fi was kind of okay, but on the fringe. And so when George Lucas combined like sci-fi and a Western together in this with this, again, like you're saying, like for the time, good technology, I can imagine it blew people away.
Yeah.
But
and I
now
can
40
totally see
something
that.
years. Yeah.
I can totally see that. But that would lend itself to very much a cult classic that does not get passed down generation to generation.
True.
And this is
Yeah.
a generational, like multi-generational thing.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm like, I don't get it yet.
Yeah.
Now I've still
Okay,
got
so
47 more movies to go.
yeah, good luck. You're going to be retiring about the time you finally catch up with the rest of us Star Wars fans. But I think that if you go back eventually, when you watch like the making of Star Wars documentary, I think that they mentioned this in there. But George Lucas did like something that nobody had ever done when it came to merchandising. And I
Yeah.
think that like the fact that you could go watch the movie and for one of the first times ever, if not the first time ever, like if you were a fan of it, you could go collect the little collectible figurines, or McDonald's would have a Happy Meal with Star Wars on, like that kind of thing. I'm imagining like it got like locked into a lot of people early on because of the pop culture references of it just kind of being everywhere, because
Yeah.
it was like, I think that I've heard people say like this, A New Hope was the first blockbuster kind of
Yeah.
thing. So that ushered in what all has now we look back on with all the Marvel movies and DC comics and all that kind of stuff of how it's now become. But it was kind of the first. So I'm curious now, again, watching it, it is very slow paced. And it's like the story doesn't all line up. The lore in the first movie compared to some of the other movies don't quite, kind of what you're saying with Obi-Wan saying that the stormtroopers are, dead shots, and the sand people can't quite hit the broadside of a barn sort of thing. I don't know that would be true because of what you will see coming up in all these other movies kind of thing. But for what it's worth, I'm so happy that you're now in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. So it's we'll see where it goes. I'm so interested to see what happens next. Also, now that I've watched one Star Wars movie, Disney Plus is like, oh, you got to watch all this Star Wars stuff. I mean, before it was, showing me Star Wars stuff. It's like, I haven't watched it, but now it's like, you need to watch all of it. So,
Right. Before it was like softballing it. Now it's just like you go to a batting cage and it's just constantly chunking stuff at you.
yeah, it's like, can I watch anything other than Star Wars on Disney Plus? Not right now.
No.
So
Just call it Star Wars Plus.
more Star Wars reviews to come, more recaps of our time in the parks to come
Yes.
on the Mouse and Men. Be sure to find us online at themouseandmen.com and on social media. Go check out that that highlight, May 2023 on Instagram. Also, you want to talk about Star Wars? Do it in our Facebook group, The Lounge for the Mouse and Men. The Lounge for, the Lounge at, I don't remember. But look for the Lounge, the Mouse and Men. You'll find it. Love to talk to you there about Star Wars. And you know, a lot of people got into Star Wars when they were a kid. Just remember, you don't want to grow up too fast.
But you gotta keep exploring.